Now, you can support your favorite angry Canadian and enjoy all sorts of bonus content for less than the price of a gallon of gas. Hopefully that joke won't make sense in like 3 months. In the meantime, support the habit at patreon.com/doseofbuckley. I kinda hate the term shadow banning, says the guy who just used it in the title of this video. But first, let's explain what it is, and then I'll get to why I find it annoying. Shadow banning, in the context of social media or a site like YouTube, is when your posts stop showing up for people, but you're still able to post. You haven't been banned, you're still using the site like always, but perhaps they've flagged your account in a way that you don't know about, and now your posts aren't being seen by as many people, or they're not being included in hashtag searches or trending topics. You're just posting into the void, and the only way that anyone will find your posts is if they're directly looking for them. Like writing a diary that only your brother reads when you're not home and then mocks you for in front of your friends later. The reason I hate this term is because it gets used so loosely, usually by people who think there's a conspiracy against them, like they're really important, and often isn't true at all. Like, I follow a dude on Twitter who has complained about being shadow banned more than once. He'll say his stuff isn't getting as many likes or retweets, that they're taking away his subscribers, and gets annoyed that the only posts that get likes and retweets are his non-political ones. Yeah, surprise! I won't say his name, but the guy is a guitarist who performed with a very popular, very openly gay pop singer 10 years ago, who now posts and retweets a lot of right-wing and religious commentary. The guitarist, not the pop singer. The bulk of his followers would have been like 14 to 21-year-old girls and gay dudes who are now 20 to 30-something. And he's surprised that his photo of a dog and a guitar gets 150 likes, while his posts ripping on trans athletes get 35 likes. His tweets about religion do even worse, and he's bleeding followers. You're not shadow banned. People can see your posts, clearly, but you performed with Adam Lambert and likely gained most of your followers through that connection. I guarantee his fans weren't overly right-wing or religious. Know your audience, or accept that they're just going to ignore you, but they're too lazy to click unfollow. But people have a hard time accepting that it might be their fault fewer people are paying attention to them. No, it's that they've probably been shadow banned. Well, perhaps a first for a social media company, YouTube has publicly admitted that they are actively shadow banning content. Sort of. At the beginning of the year, YouTube's CEO, Big Mama Suze, released an article about YouTube's 2022 priorities. Most of it was a big old pat on the snatch for what a great job YouTube's done with helping people earn more money than ever before, and how many views shorts are getting. But buried way down at the bottom, right after the part where they give you a polite, "Yeah, we heard you about the dislike button, and guess what? Fuck yourselves, you're not getting it back," was this section about protecting the YouTube community. They discuss how tackling misinformation and other harmful content is a top priority, and that they've transformed our ability to enforce these policies at scale through investments in machine learning. In other words, bots. After giving themselves a little kiss on the ass about how they reduced the number of views on content that violates their policies over the last few years, they mentioned this. "We're also working to reduce content and recommendations that comes right up against our policy lines but doesn't cross it. We aim to keep views of this borderline content under 0.5% of views on YouTube." So, combine those two statements. They're using machine learning, bots, AI, whatever you want to call it, to figure out the content of a video, the words being spoken. And then they're saying, we'll make sure that stuff that doesn't actually violate our community guidelines, but could be considered close to violating those guidelines, doesn't actually get recommended to people. So, shadow banning. But Buckley, what's borderline content and how do they figure that out? Well, I'm glad you asked. The link they provide brings us to another lengthy article. Buried within it, how does this actually work? Determining what is harmful misinformation or borderline is tricky, especially for the wide variety of videos that are on YouTube. It then goes on to state that they'll evaluate videos, have experts weigh in with their thoughts on a video, and then feed that info into their machine learning systems, which will review hundreds of thousands of hours of video. But misinformation, that's just one community guideline. What about the rest? Well, many of those are way easier, right? I mean, a machine can be easily taught to understand the word fuck and then count how many times fuck is said in a single video. And if the fucking MCP from Tron determines, well, it's not enough to be against our policies, but it's borderline, guess what could happen to that video? Well, besides getting flagged as 18 plus, as some of my videos have been, and which they already claim, these videos are not shown in certain sections of YouTube. They could just be deemed unfit for the almighty algorithm, which means they aren't showing up in the recommended section, which is basically a death sentence for any video. I've talked about this before, but we are fucking lazy. I'm including myself. I know it. I behave this same way a lot. On a PC, the average person will go to youtube.com and then look at the top 10, 12 videos, however it's formatted in their browser, and choose something out of that to watch, unless they went to the site looking for something specific. On the app, it's even worse. You'll scroll down for maybe, 4 or 5 thumbnails? And that's how a large portion of people use YouTube now. In fact, here's the stats from my When We Were Young Fest video, as of late February. 55,900 views. Of that, 86.8% came from subscribers. 13.2% came from people who aren't subscribed. According to YouTube, they showed my thumbnail 528,000 times. 66.5% of those impressions were to people in the recommended section, either on the homepage or on the sidebar while watching other videos. And from that, 36,200 views came from those impressions. Out of 19,000 subscribers who have the bell notification turned on, 917 views. 917 came from bell notifications. Yeah, keep telling your fucking audience to ring the bell, though. It's a very valuable use of your time. Hey, maybe some of them go, well, I'm busy right now, but I'll go check out the video on YouTube later. And then they check their subscription tab or search it later. But either way, most of a video's views now come from the recommended. If you ain't getting recommended, you ain't getting seen, even by your own subscribers. As I said, nearly 87% of my views come from subscribers, but over 60% of my views come from the recommended. That means even my subscribers aren't clicking the subscription tab 2 out of 3 times. They're waiting for YouTube to show it to them on their home screen. So, if YouTube's Skynet goes, we need to protect everyone, we can't recommend videos with too much swearing or videos with controversial topics, well, that's why they're proud to tell you that they are recommending 4-year-old videos like Prince Harry's popcorn swiped by a toddler, or man digs a hole in a mountain, while making sure that only 0.5% of views on our site are from borderline videos. And here's the thing that makes me laugh. Why wouldn't they want to promote content like that? At least to people who have identified themselves as adults. Sure, in North America anyway, anyone can put any age into YouTube. It's not exactly like getting into Fort Knox or anything. But YouTube knows the younger audience abandoned ship to TikTok to watch videos of people making faces while music plays. Why wouldn't it try and cater to the older audience that has stuck with it, rather than go, don't worry, we're protecting you from anything that is close to breaking a rule but isn't actually breaking a rule? Even going back to the misinformation shit, they're admitting, oh well, we do get rid of the actual misinformation, but the stuff where it's not actually misinformation, just some opinions that might be different than other people's opinions, well, we'll protect you from that too. You know, Big Mama Sue's, I got a new product idea for you guys. Still getting videos in your recommended feed that are too controversial? Shield yourself with the all-new YouTube Home Viewing Protection Kit. Before going to youtube.com, simply put on your stylish and comfortable YouTube Ocular Security Band and insert your plush foam YouTube oral cavity plugs, and you'll be fully protected from any content that doesn't quite break any of our exhaustive list of rules, but might have one too many mean words or an opinion you could disagree with. The all-new YouTube Home Viewing Protection Kit. Shh, don't worry, we won't let them hurt you with words.